right. And, oh, it's preparing.
Yeah, it does that.
So let's give it 1 second and then I'll do a little bit of an intro. Okay. So, all right. So here we are. Chris, we're going on to the main event to everybody in the meeting. And tonight we are kicking off our theme for the month of May, which is generating content ideas. We're talking with Chris Jones of Chris Jones Media. Chris is a radio personality, video producer, and VO artist from Glens Falls, New York. And tonight, Chris and I are going to be having a conversation titled, "Do you get stuck when producing video content?" I have a few questions for Chris, but after I'm done peppering him with questions, it's your turn in this room. So think up some good ones. Chris, are you ready?
I am ready. I'm ready to rock and roll.
All right.
Glad
Here
to be
we go then. So you're creating a lot of content. I see it regularly on LinkedIn, especially. Can you tell us a little bit about the different types of content that you are creating these days?
What I like to talk about, and it addresses people that like or want to make videos, is going live. A lot of people know a lot of businesses know they have to do video marketing, and they want to do video marketing. They want to get on video, but they're afraid. So I've taken very recently, to doing a lot of content regarding that. In fact, a lot of the things I've done live and even produced videos are regarding that situation, because I found that going live or just being on a video that you're going to put out on the internet somewhere is really the same thing as talking to your best friend over the back fence, like in Home Improvement, something like that. You're talking to one person at a time, and that's it. And I tell you where I got that from is when I was in radio. It's the same concept. You got a bunch of, maybe there's 10,000 people listening. So if you think about it that way, you're like, oh, what if I screw up? But no, you're only hearing, only one person at a time is hearing you or seeing. In the case of a video, only one person is seeing you, and you're talking directly to that one person. Like Neil, you and I are talking. There's other people in the room, but I'm talking right to you. I'm talking to Sean and Nick and Valerie and everyone else, and anybody watching. It's just one person. So if you can narrow it to that, you're going to have a good time. It's just that fear of talking, and that's the kind of content I'm making now. That's what I like to do.
That's excellent. We have a saying here in the Creator Network that we use, or I use all the time. Tell people to just ship it, right? Like that. Your first video is not going to be a good one. You ship it and you incrementally improve from there. And just know that your content that you're going to be making down the line is really going to be better off for it.
Yeah, so the first few you do, and you're going to get better as you go. That's really
right.
It.
Right.
Yeah.
So, do you ever get stuck coming up with content ideas yourself?
I used to, and I'll tell you what stopped it. I got to put out content. I got to put out a video. Well, no, just do it when you can, once a week, twice a week, something like that. Not every day. I got to tell you a story. I used to do it every day. When I first started this, I had something, and I should do it again because it was popular. I called it the Daily Walk for Coffee. Okay. And I would grab my phone, go on a walk somewhere on a nature trail, and go out to a convenience store and document and just talk about what's going to go on today. Oh, I have this meeting and that meeting, and I'm producing this video or that audio. And I would basically document my journey. And there's never a shortage of subject matter when you do that. Document your journey. And I got a lot of that from Gary Vaynerchuk. I hear him talk about that a lot, but I've adopted that philosophy and it works. So if you're stuck coming up with content, just what happened today, where are you headed tomorrow in your business? People love your story, and that's why they would eventually want to maybe engage you in conversations, build a relationship, and maybe purchase.
That's excellent advice. Because something's happening to anyone any
Yeah,
given day of the week, right? So
correct.
there's always something there. And if you're kind of, I'm going to say, brave enough to just tell your own story, that's a great way.
Mhm.
That's an excellent tip to never run out of ideas. And that's kind of what we were going for tonight. So you're one for one, Chris. Nailed
Good.
it.
Glad to hear it. Thanks.
So that's one idea that can kind of keep giving, right?
Oh,
Where
all the time.
you could do that every day. But how do you keep, I guess, other ideas flowing, right? How do you, if you're setting up a couple of different campaigns or something,
Mhm.
how do you generate content for this campaign and the coffee walking campaign, or do they play off of each other? Yeah.
Everything meshes together after a while. I mean, I do a lot of it. It's not all about my particular journey. A lot of it is, a lot of it isn't. I talk about, I do a lot of marketing talk because the more I watch a lot of, I always like to surround myself and get into and watch webinars and things of people that know more than I do and people that have been doing it longer. Like Gary Vee, I said it again, but I keep bringing him up. But I just love watching the guy because the energy is there. And if you surround yourself and watch people with that kind of energy, you're going to have it yourself and the ideas will flow. I mean, you can talk about marketing. You can talk about what to say in the beginning of a video, how to create the video. Talk about video about making videos. I mean, I've done some of that, you know, it's just, and a lot of it I can do about audio too, the importance of audio. If you just shut off the picture and just listen to the sound, does the voice create an imaginary thing? And that's what a voice actor does. He closes his eyes or turns off the video, and there he is. I know this is a video creator group, but the voice is all part of it. It's all part of telling the story with the video. And there's nothing that bugs me more than seeing a YouTube video with bad audio. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's another thing that often comes up within the group, right? I always tell people, first thing you fix, right, is audio.
Mhm.
Audio makes the best video, as
Because if you had you can
counterintuitive
have,
as that is.
sorry, you can have a 4K video. It looks like gorgeous. But if the guy sounds like he's in a tunnel
Yeah,
and he's across the room without a wireless mic, you might as well, I just shut it off. But if it's a 360K video, but the audio is like stereo, whatever, and it sounds great, I'll watch it. I will.
excellent. Um, do you have any tools or a plan that you use to assist you in content creation, right? Like kind of maybe tracking ideas or
Yeah, and
scheduling
I
things.
use Microsoft Excel, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I put a lot of things in a spreadsheet, various ideas, various offshoots of the ideas. Um, and I'll just like, do I want to talk about testimonials today? You know, I got some testimonials. I want to talk about that. Do I want to talk about what I did yesterday, what I had for breakfast? Do I want to talk about what inspired me to do what I do? My entrepreneurial or employee to entrepreneur story. Right there. If we have entrepreneurs, at one time they were likely employees somewhere working for someone else. And there's a content story right there. That entire transition from when you started thinking about, gee, I don't want to work for this guy anymore because I'm making him rich and not me rich. So I want to be the one that gets rich and at some point, but I want to be in control of myself, control of my destiny, so to speak. So that right there is a great content story right there.
Absolutely. You could go on forever about that transition, right? Like, or that journey that could be a, a long series of videos. So,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I've done a few actually. So.
yeah. Excellent. Um, I guess my, I've only really got one real question left. So anyone in the audience, we will open this up to Q&A after this, and you can either pop a question in the chat, or you can use your reactions at the bottom of your Zoom window to raise your hand, that type of thing. So Chris, if you had one tip, I always like to do this on my podcasts and interviews in general, nail people down to a single choice here. If you had one tip to give people who are getting stuck coming up with content ideas, and it sounds like you've already given a few, so if you can hit on one, but what do you think that number one tip would be?
In the first 5 to 10 seconds of your video, that is when people decide whether they're going to stick around and watch the rest or not. You have to have something compelling in that. For my tip would be, have something that you're passionate about, or that you know others are passionate about, because it's always about them. It isn't about you. You never come on and say, "Hi, my name's Chris, and I'm walking for coffee." It's like click, tune out, gone, goodbye, see ya. And that's what they do. If you come in with something like, "Hey, are you having trouble making videos? Well, I have the solution." I mean, something like that, some kind of pain point hook line in the beginning of the video. So I guess the answer to the question would be, have a hook in the beginning, exactly in the beginning, the first thing you say. If you're having trouble coming up with an exact thing to say, it doesn't hurt to repurpose something you did 3 weeks ago, because everybody forgets stuff. I mean, you can just come up with that again. I mean, you can recycle stuff and do it every 2-3 weeks, and just say it a little differently, something like that. I'm going on and on about it, but
no, that's a great point. And that's actually, I'm going to add a question in before I open it to the floor. Do you have an opinion on frequency, right? Like in terms of, I often tell people that they feel like that if they're posting the same content and they feel like, well, I can't post this more than once because my audience will get annoyed, or, people will know. I always am of the opinion, and it's been my experience, that you can post things a lot more than you think the frequency should be. And then I often point to other spaces where the frequency is a lot higher. So I may have even brought this up on a previous one of these meetings, but like if you watch a football game, every other commercial is for a brand new truck, right? Like they're not scared to show you the same commercial 100 times during a football game. I wouldn't go to that extreme. But what do you think, frequency wise? Would you post the same video a few times during a year, once a quarter, or something like that?
I'll post a video on, we'll use the example of a video on how to make videos. All right. We'll use that. So I do that on a Monday, and I don't want to post it the same week. 2 weeks minimum, maybe 3 later, you could edit it, change the words a little, something, make it slightly different, but it could be the same content. So yes, people forget stuff, and their lives are so busy anyway. I mean, like on LinkedIn and YouTube, and they're so busy, and they're scrolling through and they're seeing, oh, that's interesting, and they'll watch it again. Now maybe they remember seeing it, but if it's good content, and if it's got that hook and that made them stop in the first place, it's actually good, because now you're top of mind, and you're going to be reinforcing whatever the message is in that video. So once, I'm going to go out on a limb and say once a month on something. 12 times a year. I mean, I don't do it that much myself, but you theoretically could.
Sure. So. Okay. Yeah, that's excellent. Does anybody in the audience, I'm going to remove our spotlight here. Anybody in the audience have a question for Chris about creating content or coming up with content ideas? Oh,
I have.
Dale's got one. Yes. All right, Dale, hit us.
Chris, if I heard you correctly, one of my takeaways right at the beginning was that you mentioned, if you haven't gone live, then go live. And regardless of the subject matter, just have something compelling, have a hook. And to Neil's point, it's not going to be perfect the first go around, but it'll be better, it'll get better, and it'll get better. And don't worry about making mistakes, because who knows, maybe they didn't see you the first time, but get past that particular fear. Is that a good summary of some of the things that you mentioned at the beginning?
That's an awesome takeaway, Dale. Glad to meet you, by the way. Good to
you
see
as well.
you.
Love the hat.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Frank Sinatra. No, I'm not. Forget that. That's awesome. Because most people, what people like, what customer, if you're a businessman or a business person and and you know you got to do it and you go live, you go, oh, I'm scared to go live, and you don't. But you finally get up the nerve to do it. People are going to see, maybe they see you're nervous, but you know what? You're doing it. Finished is better than not finished. And just get out and do it, and you'll get better over time. And it's a lot of people think you have to have this 4K video and spend $10,000 on camera equipment and everything else. No, you grab your phone and you go up, and it becomes authentic, because even Gary Vee, he does it, it's all over the place. And it's all authentic. When you're authentic and genuine and human, and you make mistakes in your voices, and you're not a voice actor, you're just a guy or a girl talking, that's what people like. And people respond to that more than they would a polished version of it.
Okay. And you're actually speaking to one of my fears. I've worked in radio, and doing a live radio show, you can have a voice for radio or TV, or however it's, phrased, because they can't see you.
Yeah.
But moving or transitioning to video, one of my fears is just that they can see the mistakes that I've made. And I want to, say it all over again. So just hearing your position on that, I'll just have to, make some mistakes and hopefully just get better.
It's one. Don't think about doing 10. Think about doing that first one, and you'll come out all right. And now we have similar experiences. I did radio for a long, long time, and I got to where I could just open the mic and talk. In the beginning, short story. My first ever radio show was on a college radio station. It was in Plattsburgh, New York, in the SUNY system. And I had a nightmare the night before that I was going to let records run out. It was vinyl at the time. I was going to let records run out and all this. And I had that nightmare. And it's the same thing. You can equate it to a video. I mean, maybe, okay, I'm going to do a video tomorrow. I'm going to go live tomorrow. And you're thinking about all the ways you're going to screw up. And when you actually watch it afterwards, it doesn't look too bad. And that's what most of the viewers will think too. I mean, unless you're just all over with camera angles and crazy weird, but just kind of keep it there steady, and there you go. Should be all right.
If I can I'm going to interject one point here too, which is I usually tell people that, like, you can couch those first couple of videos too and be like, listen, I'm just getting started. I'd love to hear your opinions and how this how this comes across. What do you think? Constructive criticism, welcome type of thing. And that can work well for engagement. Like it builds in some authenticity. It names the fear that you're having about, like, is this going to come across professional or not? So
yeah, I mean, let them know that it is your first time. People will give you a break. You know how you walk into a retail store, or say a Dunkin' or a Starbucks, and you see the sign on their tag, "Hi, I'm new," or something like that. Right. It's the same idea right there. So, yeah.
John, you had something.
Yeah. What time do you choose to go live during the day?
I've taken to going on early, like 9
in the morning.
In the morning, yeah. I know we're on an evening now, but people tune in. Also, lunchtime. I've done it at lunchtime, like noonish, that time of day. Those tend to be the best times.
What's your target audience? What's your market for you?
Business people that would be wanting to take a break from what they're doing. Because a lot of times people will get to work and they'll be scrolling on the phone anyway, a lot of people, and they might see that and tune you in and stay there for a bit. So I've seen that.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Chris goes live a lot on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is trying to push the whole live thing. So you get notified too. If you connect with Chris and he goes live, I get his notifications. I was going to say 9 o'clock seems to be the spot that you usually are firing it up, Chris. And that, take advantage of what LinkedIn, if you're, B2B, you can take advantage of what LinkedIn is trying to grow. They're trying to get more people to do the live.
That's exactly right, Neil. Yeah. There's other arguments about that, about the live time. I mean, you could go live now, and theoretically, and you are live on YouTube. It's prime time, so a lot of people are home. Like YouTube is different than LinkedIn. YouTube is afternoon, evening, that kind of thing, whereas LinkedIn is daytime. A lot of people go live on LinkedIn 1 o'clock, noon, 1, 2, 3 during the business hours, really. Generally morning to early afternoon on that. And the other ones on Facebook, it's hit and miss, really, on that.
Are the people watching the live shows mostly home offices or remote workers? Or are they watching in the office environments?
A lot of people are, I would think. A lot of work from home people now, and they're not quite as, I don't know, shall we say, I don't want to use the word discipline, but they're probably not. They don't have a boss looking over them, and I don't want to go down that rabbit hole there. But that's another whole podcast all by itself. But I would say that people are listening and watching in any environment, really. Probably more at home than they would be at the office.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, Chris, I had 2 questions for you, actually.
Sure.
One is, do you have any equipment or, program suggestions like for multiple streaming? Because I know some people are using stuff to go on live in multiple ways. And then the other thing is, when you're preparing for live content, is it, are you winging it, or is there a construction that you put together?
I use StreamYard to stream, and there's other ones. Restream is a good one. I hear it used a lot, and I think there's some other ones too. But I use StreamYard, and right now, I go live 3 times a week. I go Monday and Wednesday mornings. Oh well, Monday morning is 9 o'clock. Wednesday morning is a little earlier because my partner needs to get out of there by 9, and also on Saturday morning I do it at 9. So, and I stream on 4 different Facebook pages, LinkedIn, Twitter, I'm missing one somewhere, YouTube, yes, YouTube, and even Twitch, the gaming platform. And Instagram doesn't work through that because it's Instagram and they're stubborn like that. So I set up a tripod, and I put my tablet or this phone right there and just go live and point it to the screen, and it picks up my voice anyway. So yeah, and to answer your question, it would be StreamYard there. And I'm sorry, I forgot the second one. I'm sorry, Nick.
No, that's fine. The second one, just how do you prepare for live streaming? Is it a combination? Do you structure something, or sometimes you just wing it?
Sometimes I do wing it. I've done it so much I do, but generally you should prepare something. Like there's usually we're not just going to go live and just talk about Star Trek or something. We're gonna, which I could do that all day, by the way. We structure it like this past Wednesday, we were talking about a friend of mine and I are going downtown into the city of Saratoga Springs, and we're going to hit some businesses, and we were promoting that. So we had notes prepared about packages we might want to offer and where we were going to go. I didn't have it scripted, so to speak, but I had the notes there so I could do it. But if you're doing it like for the first or second time, maybe you do want to script it a little bit and one thing at a time like that. So it's a combination for me. Yeah, you're welcome.
Excellent. Do we have any other questions?
This is Dale again. Dale again is somewhat of a best practices. Again, coming from radio, going to TV, just accustomed to having the conversation, taking a break, and running commercials. It sounds like I'm moving towards getting away from that commercial piece and having just a standalone straight conversation for 15, 20 minutes that's ongoing, and just making sure that the content is compelling, so I don't lose, even though I'm live, but just so I don't lose the audience.
That is challenging. Yes. And you bring up a great point with radio, and I can totally relate, having done radio. Yeah, you go on, you talk, you play a song, if you're a DJ. If you're reading news or whatever you're doing, there's always a break, a commercial break, or a network news break or something like that on top of the hour or whatever it is. Yeah, and you got time to sit there and, drink coffee or drink water or drink beer like they did in the college station I was at once. No, I didn't say that. But with live, you got to keep it up. You got to kind of know. That's why it might be good to follow up on Nick's thing, to prepare a few notes. Maybe they're not on screen with you, but you can at least glance or look at them or something. I don't know. And keep that. Yes, you have to kind of be on when we go live, it depends. If you're talking with somebody, it can go on for 45 minutes. I mean, keep it compelling. If you're doing it by yourself, I have found that I get to 15 minutes and I'm like, I've said everything and I'm starting to repeat stuff in a different tone. And that's when I kind of cut it out. So 10 to 15 generally alone. And then if you're talking with somebody, it might go an hour, 45 minutes. It depends on how compelling, and it depends on how many points we want to get across. Did I answer your question? I talked a lot.
I think you did. Most of the guests or individuals that I speak to now, we're in separate locations. So, I'm in my virtual office or wherever I am, and they are in the comfort of their place. And so, and I'm utilizing Zoom as a mechanism or a platform to do that. The purpose of being on this call today is to to fine tune what I'm doing and to learn what I don't know.
Yeah. That's why it's good if you're on Zoom, which I do a lot of that, obviously, we all do. And I got to tell you, if the pandemic was good for anything at all, which for a lot of people, it really sucked, pardon my language, but it was that we all, what we do, we communicate better than we did before, actually, I think. And more like, I wouldn't be talking to you really, because you're out in Buffalo area and I'm in Glens Falls. That would be a long drive for me. Not that I wouldn't do it, but it likely wouldn't happen. So that's the good part. So to get back to the original point, prepare a little in advance then, because, like the questions that Neil sent me, I wrote them out. I wrote out some of the things I wanted to say based on those questions, but a lot of it, what I did was ad lib. So just have a structure and you'll be okay.
Excellent. Sean had a question.
Yeah, Chris, I was actually curious because you mentioned Twitch, and I've actually gotten some freelance work recently, kind of hanging out with the community on Twitch.
Oh,
but I was just curious what results you had with that, if you actually even looked into it, or if you're just kind of streaming to stream on Twitch.
I'm streaming it to stream on Twitch, and I did check the viewership, and it wasn't a lot, to be honest with you. I haven't pursued it, to be honest with you. Now, I could go into my past 10 years ago when I was an avid gamer and modified games, and we had quite a following, but that I changed all that to go into video and audio and all that. So it got a few viewers, but it's not something I'm tracking, to be honest with you. But it's there, and I may exploit it. I can only do so many things, I guess. And I don't have a team, honestly. I'm me. I'm solo at this point. So.
Excellent. Anybody else have any questions? And Chris, did we hit everything in your notes? You mentioned that you made notes on my questions. Did we miss anything? All right.
Oh no. I did. Did I mention? No, I'll just look at it now. I guess the key points would be document your journey is a good way, and repurpose old content. You brought that up too, and like once a month or something you can rehash.
Excellent. Because I know some of the work you do too, you've mentioned documenting your own story. You do some documenting of your client stories as well. Is there any of that I don't know, you want to touch on? You want to I saw that you shared a video on the Creator Network itself. That was kind of a
Oh,
client story and stuff like
yes,
that, right?
that one I loved. It was a special thing because it was a husband and wife in the Albany area, and he is a heart transplant survivor. And it's basically a love story. It came out right before Valentine's Day this year, and it was perfect. Basically, I brought in 2 cameras and gave him a wireless mic and asked a few questions. I was never on camera, just my voice a few times. It was them talking, and that's the kind of stories I like. That human story, and that's what it was. And that was so much fun to do. And let me touch on another one.
Sure.
A restaurant in Lake George, New York, tourist town, if you've heard of it. And there's a restaurant up there that opened up in right before COVID, opened up in late 19. And early 2020, before pandemic, I brought the cameras up in there with a wireless mic, sat 6 of them around a table near a window with a brook behind it, and let them. And I asked a few key questions about the origin and all this. And they all started talking. Pretty soon, I wasn't talking at all, and they were all talking back and forth and all that. That's the kind of thing I enjoy doing. Not that I don't enjoy doing clients. They were clients. Not that I don't enjoy doing the fixed 60-second social media ad, but the stories. I'm a storyteller, I guess, video and audio storyteller, and that's what is my favorite thing to do. So
Excellent. Well, one last shot at questions if anybody else has one. Otherwise, I do have some closing notes, and we can move on to that. So
it's been fun.
All right. Well, Chris, thank you very much. The conversation was awesome. The tips were awesome. And yeah, we didn't stump you. We tried, but we were unsuccessful in stumping Chris. Better luck next time. All right. So I am going to go ahead and shut down our live stream here. Thank you, anyone who watched on YouTube, and